You talked about how do I make as much as possible by spending as least time as possible? What are a few answers to that? For example, in this podcast again with Naval, he talks about leverage, right? Talks about financial leverage, human leverage, so human capital, and then you have obviously the one that's like the best today. I mean, code and media.
Yes, I agree. So I was actually with Meow, the co-founder of Jupiter Exchange, at dinner today, and we were talking about what is the single most important super weapon that an entrepreneur can have, and it's leverage, right? And money gives you leverage. So my opinion is some people will value money more than I. What are these individuals? Usually the ones that don't have a lot of money. So I can give them money in exchange for their time and in exchange for their energy. So these people will help me accomplish my goals and my dreams. But now, like Naval says, it gets even crazier because now you can have little bots running around working 24/7. They don't get tired. They don't disobey. They don't clock out. They don't lie about their timesheet. They actually perform, and you can backtrack all of their effort and all of their work, and they can work 24/7. So leverage your money, your resources, your connections in order to automate as many areas of life, both with people and AI bot tools, in order to get to the next level.
And this is what you're doing.
100%. Yeah. Capital Club now has about 160 employees full time. About 65 of them are media distribution teams. So I'll create a piece of content like this podcast, and it'll probably get, I don't know, over the next year, 100 million views. So I'll distribute that through short form content, and I have people that do that. So instead of being like, okay, let me go out and create 50 pieces of content, I'm just going to create one piece of high value content and then allow other people, through paying them, to distribute it and utilize their resources, their time, their energy, and their attention towards my goal.
You said 160 people, right?
Yeah.
What's your approach? Because for me, what I really realized is, and it's completely linked to this notion of leverage, but also fixed versus variable costs. And when I made this change in my business, it changed everything. Full-time employees versus contractors, or kind of like remote teams that are hired by the job versus by their time, right? And so if you do that, everything becomes variable and much less risky.
Yes.
How do you approach? Because I think it's more of you're what, 28, 29?
Yeah, 28.
That's like an approach that's much more like from our generation. Whereas, for example, the first company I built in London, like 25 people, I wanted, because I was in the old mindset, the old Swiss mindset. So I was like, I want Swiss quality, which is the freaking most expensive people on earth. And I want them full time because I want the pride of saying, hey, I'm giving a job to these people and participating to their retirement and all that stuff. But then you have all this freaking stress, you know, and it was a consulting business. So it's like the worst type of business, unscalable. And then when I started to make the switch, I realized, man, like this is such a no-brainer. And then you can apply it to anything, right?
So I look at it a little bit different. I look at when I pay people or when I hire people, I'm investing into them, right? So I'm investing into their self-development. I'm investing into their progress. I'm investing into their education. I'm investing into their experience. So how foolish would it be of me to build somebody up for 2 years as a contractor or as somebody that's a freelancer, and then they're going to charge more for their services later on. They're going to go work for somebody else, or they're going to go build their own stuff. I want to create an ecosystem where my people can grow within my organization. It's so hard to find top tier talent, but if you can find top tier talent, I want them to come work for me, and I want them to come work with me. So that means sometimes you have to give them the freedom to operate and to create. Steve Jobs, I think, said, you know, the job of the CEO, the job of the business owner is to recruit talent. And if you find A players, just get out of the fucking way and let them operate. So when you see Capital Club, when you see, you know, billions of views online, that's not just Luke. It's people that are super, super developed, helping me accomplish certain goals and dreams. So I see it as, yeah, I have 160 full-time staff members. There is a lot of headaches and overheads and things like that, but they're all fixed cost. And that's one side. 2, I see it as an investment into them long-term. And then 3, I never spend money that I don't have. Right. And that's something that I always kind of pride my company of, is we always underspend so much from what we make so that once again, like your personal expenses, you don't have that, oh, how can I get to the next paycheck? I don't want to live that way. I don't want to have to go and raise money or get investors because I can't make it. So I scale in proportion to our income.
Do you think that A players stay or go on to leave and build their own thing once they realize how much personal leverage they have, right?
Depends, because not everybody that's an A player is an entrepreneur, or not everybody that's an A player is a self-starter, and not everybody that's an A player wants to go out and do their own thing, or can take on the risk of going on and, funding a business, building a business, or being a CEO or an executive. Some people are just phenomenal videographers, right? Some people are just phenomenal human resource managers. Some people are just phenomenal accountants. So I just want to polish them, refine them, and then give them a value ladder of scalability within my organization. Eventually that obviously for the high tier individuals leads to shares, leads to options in the company, but that's just inevitable because the goal isn't to own 100% of zero, right? If you own 100% of something that's not worth anything, cool, you're the only guy involved, but you don't have shit. So sometimes you have to share, and that means splitting the pie so that the pie can get bigger. I'm all about sharing, bro.
That's such a key concept, actually. And you have often when you start companies, you might have like 2 or 3 co-founders, and then you have this ego at play, right? Who has more, and like, why would we split equally? And you're like, man, first, it's all about not what happened before, it's all about what happens in the future. And second, 33% of like something much bigger is worth much more than 100% of something much smaller. Absolutely.
And it's also the energy and time thing, right? So if I have co-founders, now I have I have more heads, I have more energy, more time. And that's going, if they're the right people, that's going to accelerate growth and accelerate development, accelerate the achievement of your goals a lot faster.
Absolutely.